Greetings YouTube, this is my banister post. Banister posts are traditionally straight. You'll note however that mine is not. No, I did not put that bracket there. Someone else did. Someone backed into the post even though I had not only put two reflectors on it, but a 6-foot bicycle flag. That didn't work. So I need to replace this post. And I've already purchased the post. I got a deal on it even. It was an offcut of somebody else's post, so I paid like $5 for the post I got. And I'm not going to dig up the ground and put a new post in the ground. I'm going to surface mount the post. I have a bracket for that. That way when the post gets hit again in the future, it will be a lot easier to replace. I will be transferring the reflectors and such onto the new post in the hopes that the new post will not get hit. But again, this one did, so could happen again. And I'm just going to lay the banister on top, and I'm actually going to see if I can do a better job of attaching the side rails by going through the post with a 6-inch lag bolt, go right into the end grain of the 2x4. So it will not be hopefully splitting the wood, it will be going straight into the wood. So I hopefully will get a better, actually be able to draw the two things together. That would be my goal, make a better mechanical fastener than just nailing these things together. I did not realize what a crappy job my contractor did on this banister. He used nails instead of using screws. I didn't realize that at the time. I was going through a very, very unstable point in my life. Buying this house was the most stressful thing I've ever lived through, and that includes people dying and me surviving a fire. So yeah, so I was not thinking clearly, and things did not go as smoothly as they could have. So I need to replace this, but I can't do it today completely because I'm alone, and this is a two-person job. Because I need help to get the post in and aligned and everything, all that stuff. So what I can do is some prep work. So that's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to do the prep work for this job. Like for example, taking off the reflectors and getting the fixture I have to mount it to the ground mounted on the end of the post, so that I can just once the old post is out of the way, I can then just use it to figure out the height I want for the banister for the post, and then cut that post off. So that's the next job, is going to be stripping this thing and then starting the prep on the new post. So this is the bracket I've purchased. It was under $12 and it came with the fasteners I'm going to use. And I need to knock the corners off this because it doesn't fit, because the corners are too sharp. So I'm going to just try knocking those off with a draw knife. And then I'm going to pre-drill for all the there's 4 holes in the bottom and 4 holes on the side, and I'll do that prep work now. And these larger holes are for the base itself. But it's occurred to me, yes it has, it's occurred to me, I'm going into concrete. Yeah, concrete. Those are wood screws. Now I have some plastic insert designed for wall mounting, which can be mounted in concrete. So the drill bit is designed to drill concrete. So if I use that drill bit to drill the hole, I put the plastic grommet in the hole, I then cram these things in that hole and use the pressure of the screw going into the plastic in the hole. Hopefully it might work. We're going to find out. If it doesn't work, I have to go get some concrete anchors at the hardware store. But you know, if you don't have to go to a hardware store at least twice for a project, it's not a real project. But this is the beam I've got, and I paid it's like 6 feet long, a little less than 6 feet long, and I paid $5 for it. It's a good price, and I'm going to use probably half of it. And the rest, I think I may use for a weapons build, or at least part of it for weapons build. Yeah. So, first up, knocking off corners. Okay, first hurdle, knocking the corners off with my draw knife is not enough. So I'm going to need to take off a little bit more. So I've broken out a belt sander to do that with. So I'm going to round them over and then take a smidge off, like a sanding belt width here, just to round the whole thing over a little until I can get this thing to fit on there nice and snug. You know, nothing ever works the first time. Okay, little sanding, and this is not coming off. So now I need to put the 4 screws in the bottom done first to pull this in and snug it all the way, and then when I have all 4 of those done, I will put the 4 in the sides. So time to break out the drill, an appropriate size drill bit, and start to make pilot holes. Alrighty, so there we go. Fully assembled. All 8 fasteners are in place. So now it's going to be getting the other one out. And then putting this in place so I can get the exact height I want, because I'm trying to fit this into an existing system. I mean, obviously, if I were doing this new construction, I could have cut it to length already, but I don't know what the exact length is going to be because I can't measure the one that's out there right now. It's broken and at an angle. So I'm going to fit it once I get the old one out. These things use Phillips head. I mean, they're big, beefy Phillips head, which is nice, but I still despise Phillips heads, man. I am so glad that the heavy fasteners that they came with this are hex heads. That makes me so happy because I so much prefer to use those over something like this, because I can use a ratchet with that easily, which will be great. But yeah, I despise Phillips heads. It's one of the most poorly designed fastening ideas I've ever conceived. They should have always been either square or star shaped. And as soon as we had the technology to create square or star shaped fasteners, we should have done away with Phillips heads. But we're stuck with them. I mean, I've got thousands of them here. I use them for little simple projects that don't require a lot of torque, and lots of things I have hanging here out in the shop are all Phillips heads because I don't care about them, and it's just hanging stuff from the beams. But yeah, I do not like Phillips heads. Alright, so next clip will probably be outside when we're fitting this thing to size, and probably going to cut it by hand because it's only going to be 2 cuts, this thing and the one that's out there. So yeah, I don't see myself needing to get the power tool out for that. I want you to know how much I care for you folks. I stopped listening to NPR just so I can make these clips for you. I'm not sure how the person that put those in got them in, but I can't get that bottom screw out without snapping it off, so I'm not going to bother. And I want to use a handsaw because it's 1 cut, and I'm trying to get as close to the base as possible, because whatever I can get off with this post means less I have to grind off and make it flush with the ground, which is really what I would like to avoid. It sucks. It really sucks. There's no 2 ways about this. So all I'm going to do is start cutting and hope I can get this. And the problem is that there's another screw on the other side which is actually snapped off. And I'm hoping I'm below it so I don't hit it with my saw. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to this. I got a box here. I'm kind of sitting on this so I'm not sitting on the cold ground because it's October 31st, so it's not warm out here. The sun's coming up. It's pretty high in the sky at the moment, so at least I'm getting a little bit of sun warmth, and it's not raining. And we haven't had 2 people and the ability to get to this in a decent day. So next up, trying to cut this off. So I ended up having to break out the Sawzall. I could not do that by hand. It was just this wood is just very dense. It's just did not cut well. So I got the Sawzall out. So now I've got over 1 inch of wood sticking out of the ground. So I'm breaking out my angle grinder here with a metal removing bit wheel, and I'm thinking if that disc can handle moving metal, I should be able to move wood with it. because I need to grind this down until it's flush with the ground. I'm not happy with this solution. Really, I'm not. But I didn't have a lot of options. And there's the post in question, which I'll have to whack up when I'm done with the Sawzall and toss. But I can probably use the Sawzall to actually cut the new post as well. Go a little faster than doing it by hand. Because this wood is very dense. Pressure treated stuff. And this, I freely admit that this thing was not well constructed, and I just do not want to take the time and effort to reconstruct it from scratch. And I get the feeling that maybe I have to do it at some point, or have someone else do it. But right now, I'm going to take my angle grinder and a metal removing disc and see if I can get some of this wood out of the way. So much fun. Happy Halloween. Alrighty. So, this is the mess I'm working with at the moment. My angle grinder did not work. It's just burning the wood. It wasn't cutting the wood. So, I broke out my Dremel multi-tool. And I've been nibbling away at this thing. This wood is just so bloody dense. Sorry, I think I might just cover up the mic. This stuff is just so dense. It's horrible to work with. So, I'm going to keep nibbling at this until I get it down to the as flat as possible. Then I'm going to have to break out a belt sander or a random orbital sander to bring it flush with the ground, so I can get that mount sitting square. Ah, this sucks. Alrighty, so this is obviously too long. I know that now. I haven't fit the final height and everything yet, but I got this right where I want it. I didn't want to remove the wood completely because I actually want to use the wood as a part of the support. The problem is that this is only, I apologize for the shadows here, that corner on the far side is over air. The guys who put this concrete in, they had left a gap between the concrete and the tar, the blacktop, so there's nothing under that one, nothing. So I'm going to only have 3 bolts in this. I'm not happy about this, but fortunately the most of this pressure is going to be downward. And that's the best I can do, and I'm going to drill from here all the way through and put 6-inch bolts to hold the 2 2x4s in. So when I'm done, the 2 2x4s and this post are going to be married together in a much better way than had been done before, which was they just used nails. And then on the top, I'm going to put 3-inch screws right down straight through the top into the post. So again, all of this is going to be married together in a way that they did not have before. And I'm going to leave I'll probably, let me take the nails out and just put screws in their place. I'm not sure. I may just leave the nails in and then add screws. Add a few more screws, probably wouldn't hurt. It's hard to have too many fasteners. So this is, I mean, it's not perfectly plumb, but this is darn close to straight, and so that's where we're going to sit at the moment. Literally. So now I'm going to get my wife out here, and we're going to make some holes in the ground, and then try to put in. Then once we get the holes marked out, I can move this, drill them, and then we can cut the final height, mark it off, and give it a go. And I'm probably just going to use a Sawzall on that. It's not going to be pretty probably, but I need it to be quick, and I need it to be not going to kill me. It's using that handsaw sucks. This board is so dense, man. Weather resistant, but so dense. My wife had a genius idea when I explained that hole was over nothing. We cut off this and we moved the whole post in, so that now that's the outside corner, that's the inside corner, and then we're gonna have 2 here. I've marked them, but the drill bit I have is just not cutting it. Literally not cutting it. It's not cutting going through the concrete. So we're going to go to the hardware store and pick up a concrete bit that will handle this size fastener. These holes are fine. We're going to squirt a little silicone in there before we're done. Try to mitigate the amount of water that gets into the ground through the holes that we've made. Try to, prevent as much splitting of the concrete and the blacktop as possible. But I still needed to get that post down, so it's fine. And it's just going to sit there. I'm not going to do anything to that post. I'm going to leave that post right like it is. But yeah, so we just took a Sawzall and zounk, zounk, and cut it right off. And I will cut this off when I am done to make it look pretty. It also means that we'll get rid of some of this garbage in here. We'll still have that ugly hole there. But yeah, so that was a smart move, smart decision on my wife's part. I didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think of it. Sometimes you get tunnel vision when you're doing this kind of thing. So now off to the hardware store to get a bit, and I think we need some fasteners for another project while we're there too. So here we are at the cutoff stage. Got my Makita Sawzall, got 2 sawhorses, got it clamped down. Have my wife here to help. Now we're going to cut this off so we can finally bolt it to the ground and fasten it down. And we're going to use some liquid nails in the holes when we're done, so that it'll give a chemical fastener, and it'll also act as a lubricant while we're going in the hole. Okay, there we go. Fully mounted, reflectors reinstalled. I'm gonna need a new flag. My flag is kind of lame. I'll get a new piece of cloth or something. The 3 of the fasteners are in the ground properly. One of them is not. This one over here in this corner is not fastened properly. I can't figure out why it won't go in any further. There's a hole for it. The other 3 went in. I was not happy with this process today. My liquid nails was dry. My silicone was not functioning right. So the holes are not properly sealed. But I've hit the wall. I am dead tired and I need to stop. But this is cleaned up, so it looks relatively decent. I got 3 fasteners in the top, so it's relatively secure, just as secure as it was before. And because it's now surface mounted, I should be able to get these things out and replace this again in the future more easily, because I'll be honest, I'm assuming that it's going to get hit again. But hopefully it'll be easier to repair this time. It's also in further 4 inches or 5 inches or 6 inches, something like that. Yeah, but, well, 5 inches. So maybe it'll be a little harder to hit because it'll be further in, who knows. But it's done is done. 2 lag bolts going all the way through. So that thing's sitting, hanging off of that instead of just nails. Nothing on this thing is square. It was put together with nails instead of screws. I wish I had been more well informed about construction guidelines before we'd hired our contractor, because apparently he's miserable at his job. I mean, that door over there, you see that door right there? He put that in with 2-inch screws. 2-inch screws. Not 4-inch screws, 2-inch screws. And we couldn't figure out why it was sagging on me. It was sagging on me because it wasn't installed right. Yeah, it's installed right now. But yeah, so here you go. This is my finished repair, and I'm a little grumpy. I apologize. So now it's to gather up the last of the hardware on the ground, take it upstairs and call it good. I have to go repair a mask because tonight is Halloween.